Welcome back to an overcast day in Thailand as we all spend yet another glorious day at home. But what I wanted to show you was one of my new toys, which is this. It is one of those fabulous microscopes with a digital camera built into it. So you can use your eyes and look through here, or you can record your fun and games for posterity. Let me walk you through it, and I'm going to ask you for some help because I'm coming up short on my knowledge and my parts on this thing because it's got some good things and it's got some horrific things to it. So let's get started. The first thing was this manual that came in the box is for the wrong unit. This has its own built-in base, and it has a completely different camera system on it. My camera mounts here, as you can see on this flat diagonal part right here. I don't have a camera here. See, no camera. Anyway, so I did the best that I could by trying to follow through the steps and substitute where things are supposed to go. Now, what do I really like about it? I love the arm. The articulating arm is beautiful. You can adjust it so it just goes up and down and holds its place, and you can put it whatever you want at whatever angle is comfortable. Spectacular. Another good thing is the camera itself. 38 megapixels. You can't go wrong with 38 majillion pixels, and it has both USB and HDMI output. Let me show you how that looks on the screen. So using the USB output, I'm using the Windows 10 camera app, which reads the camera output beautifully. And since I have this widescreen monitor, I can have the schematic of the board up here, or the PC layout, or the schematic, whatever I need, to be able to see what I'm doing in the circuit or on the board and relate that as to how the screen looks. And that's great. I can take a snapshot, or I can create a movie from that, or I can just use it in real time. The other thing I can do is use the HDMI output and use the picture-in-picture feature of my monitor. So let's take a look at that. I go in here, I select picture-in-picture mode, I turn it on, and it takes a second. And so now I have the way, there's a number of different ways you can set up the location of where the HDMI is. So this is HDMI, and this is computer monitor. And the computer, I've got both the USB and the schematic, or I could just do the schematic on this side. I could get rid of that. So only this part is computer and this part is raw HDMI. The good part about having the HDMI is the menu system actually works. When you're in USB mode, you do not get this menu system where you can go through and select some things that you want to do to configure the camera. But I think once you get this set up once, you're not going to really play with it very much. All right, let's look at the scope itself. It's got a lot of adjustability to it. This big knob in the back raises the entire system up and down in kind of a very coarse manner. You can see how that works over there. It's got a fine adjustment, which is optical. You're actually changing the optics inside, whereas this is purely physical. This is optical zoom, and you can see how much of a difference that makes. Then you've got a knob on the other side that's a twin of that one. Then the camera itself has a focusing ring built into it, and you can see the effect that that has. Then each eyepiece has its own independent focusing ring, one for the left, one for the right. Now, I can change this a lot, but then it's nearly impossible to get it back into focus once you go above a certain distance from your primary surface. And that I find troubling, because by the time I get into having the largest visible area, the furthest away here, I'm basically focused down onto something that's the size of a very small chip, or that's like a 4 millimeter hole right there is taking a massive amount of my field of view. If I pull up like this to get a full board view, I cannot focus. I cannot get any kind of an image in focus of this board at this height. So there's no ability to get a full, say, like Louis Rossmann does. He's got a whole circuit board here. He can zoom out, and then he can zoom all the way back down to a resistor-sized image. I cannot do that. And I'm sure that has to do with the way the lens system is working in here. This is the kind of field of view I'm looking at. That is a diode. That is an integrated circuit that's about the size of 2 grains of rice. So here's where I come in as an optical scope newbie. I don't know what I can do to be able to get that big field of view and to be able to come up to this height to get a board level, and then zoom down to the resistor level there and have it be able to focus on the work. Now, the system comes with 3 lenses that screw in underneath here in the bottom. There's an LED ring which really does give good light. This small ring is simply a piece of flat glass. You can see there's glass there. There's no magnification here at all. This ring is a 2 times magnification. It's got quite a curve on it. That's flat with a big curve on the top. And this is a 0.5 ring with a smaller optically opposite effect. Now, you can actually put the 2 onto the 1/2, or sorry, it has to go this way. You can put the 1/2 on the 2 and then screw both of those in here. I've tried every combination of this. I still cannot get the effect I'm looking for here. So that's what I'm looking for. Maybe a lens stack that screws in here, or a lens stack that screws in here, sorry for the darkness, from the camera to where it goes into the body of the scope. We can do some lensing things in here that would hopefully also adjust that. There was no option in the kit for this. It goes straight in. One of the weird things on this is on one side there's a set screw. On the other side, there's nothing. So the camera is held in by one set screw, and due to the nature of the pressure of that, it wants to make the camera like tilt like this because it's not machined flat. If I loosen the set screw, the camera mount does not lie perfectly flat. So that's a big shortcoming here. The next big shortcoming is the eyepieces. Garbage. Absolute garbage. Now, there's no way I can show you this, but, well, maybe I can. You see, I'm looking straight down. Don't worry that it's not in focus. But if I move my head 0.5 millimeter, I lose my view. I lose the thing I'm looking at. The smallest movement of my head, I lose my field of view in both of these. And if I'm trying to look at something at the same time, it's like giving me a headache because I'm losing what I'm looking at all the time, and sometimes the image is pulled apart and sometimes the image is overlapping. So these are completely and 100% absolute garbage, useless. I will only ever be looking at this on the screen. So I would say this entire eyepiece part of the scope is completely wasted. If I had to do it again, I would get the beautiful arm, I would get the LED light ring, I would get some different optical lenses, and it would come straight up in the camera. I would get a model that completely took the entire eyepiece part away. If I was smart and I knew what I know now, that's the product that I would buy. So, please, Internet, help me understand my problem. Help me find a way so that I can get a focused bird's eye view, and then I zoom down and I can look at a single integrated circuit. I don't mind having to refocus at that point, but I would really like to have both perspectives of a wide view and a detailed view, as long as I'm able to do what I need to do, because I cannot put this thing all the way down to focus on the single pin of a chip and still be able to get the soldering iron down in here. There's not enough physical clearance. So that's that. That's enough of my rant today, and I look forward to thoughtful and helpful suggestions, and especially places like links to where I can buy lenses and various other doodads that will help me improve this scope. Thank you so much, Internet. I look forward to your help. Welcome, people who stayed to the end of this exciting video. I just want to let you know I've had a bit of an epiphany about YouTube, and it makes me sad. I've been asking people to subscribe to my channel and click the like button in the hopes that YouTube would recognize my channel and kick in a little ad revenue for all these goodies that I'm buying to help me with my little projects. And I realize it's all in vain. YouTube is caring less and less about the people who use its channel. Even the big boys and the big girls are having to go to something like Patreon for financial support. And I'm just not worthy of a Patreon following for anybody. So if you've enjoyed my stuff and you want to see more of it, go ahead and click subscribe and like if you like. Otherwise, just enjoy this picture of my beach here in Thailand and enjoy the rest of your day, and I thank you very much.